Greetings to all. I welcome all students, parents and teachers to the EVS session. This is the first session for EVS and I hope that you will learn through various activities and discussions that we have planned for this lesson. Today, we will be starting with the theme of family and friends, and we will discuss about animals, our friends. We will discover the super senses of our animal friends. We will be covering major concepts of topic along with some activities. One important aspect of learning is that we should not compartmentalize the topic into rigid subjects. Instead, see how the given topic relates to our lives irrespective of subject boundaries. This means that when we are learning EVS, we are also learning languages, mathematics, art and craft and other skills in one way or the other. So, why don't we start our session with a teaser from English language? Look at the title of the session, Super Senses. Can you identify the describing word in the title? Let me use an example. We can use these words in place of super. Great senses, excellent senses, sharp senses. We can replace super with different words which can describe the word senses. Yes, this means super here is a describing word. Super means great or extremely good, and here it is used to describe the senses of our animal friends. This session is about superb capabilities of animals and how it is helpful to them. Now, let us talk about senses. Let us take the example of this apple. How do we know it is an apple? Because we see and identify it. Can I identify it with my eyes closed? Let us say we are not allowed to use the sense of sight. How can we still identify it as an apple? Shall we try the nose for the sense of smell? Yes, I can smell and tell by the unique smell of apple that it is an apple and not an orange or guava. Now, we are not using either sense of sight or sense of smell. Now, how will you make sense of this apple? You may explore its shape and size by touching it. It's broader on the top and narrowing at the bottom. Feels like an apple. So, I can touch to feel and tell that this is an apple and not banana or pineapple. Now, if you are not allowed to use any of the already used senses, that is sight, smell or touch, how else can you identify this apple? Yes, as you can see, the remaining sense of taste, the organ of taste is very useful here. I can taste and tell that this is an apple because I know how an apple tastes. When I bite it, it makes a unique, crisp, sharp sound. So now I know that this is an apple as I identify the sound of biting it. So we just saw that different body organs are involved in making sense of word around us. These are called sense organs. I know you already know the names of these organs. We have 5 sense organs which allow us to have 5 senses. Ears for sense of hearing, eyes for sense of sight, nose for sense of smell, tongue for sense of taste, skin for sense of touch. You may think that do animals too have these senses and sense organs? Yes, they do. Let's see how some animals astound us with their abilities. Anytime we find something extraordinary, we call it super. There are popular movies where superheroes have super abilities of some animals like a spider or an ant. If we were to make a superhero movie with an animal as the superhero, don't you think some animals will make great superheroes? Think of your favorite animal. Now imagine it to be a superhero. What super ability will it have? For example, I like dogs. And if dogs were to be superheroes, they will catch the bad guys with their great super senses. Which super senses? That we will find out in this lesson. The animal world is full of such wonderful superheroes. So, let us start this lesson by discovering the super senses of our animal friends. You must have observed animals around you. For some examples, look at the picture shown here. Have you seen an eagle flying away with a roti like that? Have you observed a dog's ears move while you walked past it? Have you seen ants gather up around some dropped food? Can you identify the sense organs involved in animals' actions given here? Think about some other animals that you see around. For example, pigeons, mosquitoes, monkeys, etc. How do they find food? How they find their way home? What makes them special? Most of you must be answering these questions with the names of senses and sense organs involved which make an animal special. But now the question is, what are super senses? Some animals have a sharp sense of hearing, smell or sight. These are called super senses. If we compare these senses with our own, we will find that some animals have way more enhanced sense of smell, sight or hearing than us humans. Eagle has super sense of sight. Its vision is more than 4 times better than that of humans. Dog has super sense of hearing and smell. Ants also have super sense of smell. Before we discuss these in detail, let's understand how these super senses are important to animals. As super senses help us make sense of our world, animals too need them to make sense and perform various functions. These functions are to find food. As you have seen the example of ants, most animals rely on their sense of smell to find food. To sense danger, as a langur does and also many birds. In finding mates, in case of silkworms which can smell mates from kilometers away. Also location and direction, in which honeybees are experts. So, now we have an idea about what we mean by super senses and how super senses are helpful to animals. Now we will discuss and explore these super senses one by one. Today we are focusing on super sense of smell and super sense of sight. Let us start with the super sense of smell. We will be focusing on these animals to understand how the excellent sense of smell helps them. We will start with our little friends ants. I hope you remember them from the story The Ant and the Grasshopper, where hard-working ants worked throughout the summers to save food for winter season. But the lazy grasshopper wasted its time and then starves when the winter comes. You all must have observed tiny ants around. We also know that ants are very hardworking. Ants live in a colony. They make ant hills which run deep underground and collect and save food there for winter season. Ants have a super sense of smell using which they find their food. That is the reason we find ants gathered around any sweet food in a very short time. Have you seen ants walking in a straight line? How do they do that? Even when you try to block their path, they find their way around to resume the path. Answer is the same, their sense of smell. Ants leave a trail of scent on ground, which is followed by other ants. That is how they walk in a straight line using their sense of smell. So, when the first ant finds the food, it leaves a trail of scent, marking its way back to the colony. The ants from the colony follow this trail of smell to reach the food. While following this trail of smell, they move in a straight line. Students, here is an activity for you to do on your own and write down your observations. Drop something sweet like sugar or jaggery on the ground and wait until the ants come there. Note down, how long did it take for the ants to come? Did one ant come first or a group of ants came together? What did the ants do with the food? Where do the ants go from there? Do they move in a line? Find out the answers and write in a notebook. You all may have different response for the above questions based on your own observations. You shall discuss the responses with your friends. Now, let us discuss how ants recognize their friends. An ant was going along on the ground. It saw a group of ants coming from the other side. The first ant quickly came back to its hole. The ant guarding the hole recognized it and let it in. So we wonder, how did the ant know that the other ants were not from its group? How did the guard ant recognize this ant? Ants are of different types and live in separate colonies with their own kind. They also have guard ants to identify ants of their own colony. Ants communicate with each other using pheromones, which are special kind of smell signals. Using these, they can identify ants from their own colony and of other. Have you ever observed two ants to stop by and touch their heads for a while and then move along? Do you wonder why do they do this? Yes, this is their way of communication. After ants, now let's discuss about humans' best friend, dog. Most children love playing with puppies and be friends with dogs. Dogs are loyal and most popular pet animals. Have you observed that dogs can sense someone coming even before the doorbell rings? We see that dogs act as guards to their owner's house. This is due to their super sense of smell and hearing. Today we will discuss about their sense of smell. Dogs can smell 10,000 times better than humans. Their vision is not so strong, so they rely more on their sense of smell. Dogs' super sense of smell is used by humans in various ways. Dogs can be trained to smell and identify certain things which they can trace. This skill is utilized in airport and metro security, rescue operations, etc. Have you seen dogs sniffing around trees and vehicles? Also, they chase vehicles at times. Why do they do so? Dogs mark their territory by urinating on trees, vehicles and poles. Their urine carries their unique scent and thus acts as a signal for other dogs. By sniffing around trees and vehicles, they check for any outside dog. When any vehicle with a urine scent of a dog from other locality enters another dog's area, the dog identifies it as an intruder and starts chasing the vehicle. Now, we will talk about an annoying little insect named mosquito. They bite you mostly at night time. Have you wondered how they can find you even in the dark? They have super sense of smell. They follow the smell of your body, especially your feet. Your body heat also helps them in finding you even in the dark. We all find certain smells as good or pleasant and others as bad or foul. A mother may change diapers of her own baby without any hitch, but may cover her nose when changing diaper of some other baby. Our response to a smell depends upon our feelings towards it. Think of the children who spend whole day picking things from garbage. Do you think smell of garbage affects them the same way as to you? So students, now let's explore the sense of sight. The sense organ related to this sense is eyes. We will start with birds of prey. The birds that hunt and eat other birds and animals are called birds of prey. In birds of prey, the sense of sight is outstanding. An eagle can see 4 times better than us. This means that what we see clearly from a distance of 100 meters can be seen accurately by an eagle from distance more than that of 400 meters. An eagle can spot its prey from 3.2 kilometers above in the sky. Similarly, hawk, kite and vulture have excellent sense of sight. Birds of prey have their eyes in the front of their head. This allows eyes to focus on their prey. In birds like pigeon, hen and sparrow, the eyes are on either side of the head. This gives them a better range of view to find food and look out for danger. As most of these birds spend much time on ground to find food, they need broader range of vision which is enhanced by eyes being on sides. If you have observed birds around you, for example, hen, pigeons or sparrows, you would have seen that birds move their necks very often. Why do they do so? In most of the birds, eyes are fixed and cannot move. That is why birds move their necks to see around. To understand this better, let me draw eyes of a bird as dots around my fist. When the eyes are fixed on sides and eyeball movement is restricted, I have to move the wrist to look around the same way as a bird moves its neck. That is why birds move their neck often. This position of eyes on sides of the head gives a better range of vision to birds that have to find food close to the ground like pigeon and hen. But for the birds of prey, the eyes are positioned in the front so that they can focus on the prey at a distance. As in case of an eagle, eyes in front will help focusing on a rabbit on ground while flying high in the air. Here we have a fun fact to remember that owls can rotate their necks completely to look at back. Now we will understand how different animals see colors. Animals cannot see as many colors as we can. See how things in these pictures will be seen by different animals. Here you can see that birds can see more colors than a dog. Animals awake at day have wider color range than animals that are awake at night, because seeing more colors in daytime helps in finding food. Students, here are some suggested activities related to the concepts learned today. You all love to draw and color, don't you? So you can draw any animal of your choice and try making it look like a superhero. Write a short note about what super qualities will make that animal a superhero. Write names of 2 animals as examples for the following: super sense of smelling, super sense of sight. I am sure you will enjoy completing these activities. Let us do a quick revision and answer the following questions. For each question, there are 4 responses. You have to select the correct response. Question number 1. Which of the following animals has super sense of smell? Pigeon, ants, fish or snake? You guessed it right. The correct answer is option B, ants. Question number 2. Which of the following bird has eyes in the front of the head? Options are hen, sparrow, eagle or manna. Yes, your answer is right. It is option C, eagle, which has eyes in front. Rest of the birds have eyes on the sides of their head. Let's summarize what we have learned today. Animal world is amazing and animals have excellent senses which are called supersenses. Animals like ants, dogs and mosquitoes have the super sense of smell which they use to find food, find direction and find their mates. Birds of prey have super sense of sight. Also, the position of eyes on head depends on the feeding habits of a bird. We conclude our session for today. Our next session will explore the remaining aspects of the topic, animals are friends. Till we meet again, enjoy looking around. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.